Real quick. Listen, this is the Gray Area Podcast.
Let's go.
Got coming, man. I really do.
Absolutely, man.
I really do.
Thank
Yo,
you.
Zook, what's good, bro?
man? Sean, what's up, bro? Good. Thank you for having me.
Same shit. Yo, listen, yeah, so let me just give you a quick rundown about what we doing, man. Basically, the bottom line is that producers, y'all are the lifeblood of this shit, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, you really, you give us the soundscape that we could paint on. Like, you the easel and the colors, and we put the picture together. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like for a very long time, you guys haven't been getting the just dues or your flower. You guys haven't been getting your flowers. You know what I'm saying? So we just kind of want to set this little space aside to give you guys an opportunity to platform yourselves and promote yourselves and, just chop real shit with friends. That's all it is. You know what I'm saying? The gray area type shit.
Thanks.
Yo, that's dope, man. I appreciate that.
All good. So, yo, for the world, for everybody who's listening, it's Muggs on Drugs, DeFi Dane, Scene 5, and Lord Zookie. All right? Muggs on Drugs, DeFi Dane, we like the artists and whatnot. Scene 5, Lord Zookie, they the producers, and we've got projects in with these guys, and we got time in with these guys. As a matter of fact, we all have a common thread, which is IAR. You know what I'm saying?
Rest in peace to IAR, man. That shit is not there no more.
Yeah.
Wow,
that
man.
shit is crazy. Isn't that shit crazy?
Yeah, man. I was actually just down there. Since I moved back to New York, I hadn't been down there in a minute, and it's kind of wild to see. As soon as they closed it, I was like, man, they're gonna turn this place into some condominiums or some like a dorm or something for NYU, and yep, it's going up. But
right. Nah, yeah, that shit is crazy, bro.
How do you feel about that, Sean? I'm just curious. Like,
it's it was a place and a time, man. It was like I'm not really like sad about it, but it's just kind of it's just strange. It's a whole era. That's the reason I moved to New York, was to go there. So
that's epic.
End of an era, like you said, end of an era.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a lot of great memories. Like I still love the story of the fact that you guys met in the first day of my class. Like that's yeah. Anytime I think IAR, it's a ton of like really positive experiences. But it was I'll put it this way: it served its purpose in my life for sure. Like it was,
still had that
big fun of my life.
For sure.
You still had that video of us freestyling in that class, like
It's crazy. It's so crazy, man. It's for anybody listening, I used to because I was real reluctant to teach because I was a horrible student like in regular school. But when I got to IR, I was just like, oh, this is sound and music. Like I love this. So I was really comfortable in that building. But it's a long story, but just a fluke how I ended up teaching there. And I used to always play the first day of the first class. I would always play Be Thankful for What You Got, William Devon. And that was like my way of like, when you walk into my class, like it's cool. Like it's just such a, it's a good vibe.
Got the vibe, right?
Yeah. The whole, you walk in, like I was basically just trying to make a class like as fun as it could be. So when you walk into a classroom and it's playing, Diamond in the Back. And then Muggs just started rapping, and then you guys met like in that moment. It's crazy.
Think about it, so much time has passed since then, and it's like it was one of those moments where, I got up. As soon as I stood up, Tay stood up. When Tay stood up, Stiz stood up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it just, I don't know, man. It's one of those moments in life where it's like, it was like lightning in a bottle. You know what I'm saying? It was a special moment. I still hold it dear.
What's crazy is that it wasn't until years later when I asked you guys how you met, because I just assumed in that moment, I was like, oh, these two guys came to IR together to work together. And like, I mean, it was a whole classroom full of people, so we were kind of like off and running, but I was just like, oh, these two guys are like brothers or, best friends or something. But I did not, it wasn't until we were in the studio years later when I was like, yo, how did you guys meet? And you were like, what are you talking about? We met in your class.
That's a fact. We like cosmic brothers, because that was the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's crazy. Ah, man.
you were just so on the same page so quickly that I was just assumed that you guys were a team, like
Thought the
right
same
off
thing.
the bat from the day I met you.
I thought
So
the same.
That's crazy.
I definitely
yeah,
believe things happen for a reason, man. I wanted to go to that school like 2 years earlier and didn't go. Just because my mother tried to kick me out the house and go to a different school. You know what I mean? Like, so things just happen for a reason. I rolled in there at that moment to meet you guys and put this thing together. So yeah, that energy was supposed to happen for sure.
Yeah.
yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I believe that. Yeah, so listen, I wanna give you guys a chance to give a little background. So yo, scene 5, I'm gonna start with you.
Cool.
Yo, what's going on, man? Where you from? First and foremost, where you from,
I
bro?
am from.
For those who don't know.
Uh, I usually say to people, "Oh, I'm from." It depends where we're at. Like, if somebody asks me and I'm somewhere else in the world, I'll say, "Oh, I'm from Philly area," but I'm actually from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. So a
Okay.
lot of people know Allentown a little more, but I'm from actually,
Mm-hmm.
Lehigh Valley, Center Valley, Allentown, Bethlehem area. But
Got
yeah,
you.
PA. But to round it down, I usually just say, "Oh, I'm from just north of Philadelphia."
No, I hear that. I hear that. It's the same with me. It's the same with
Because
me.
people know that
Um,
area, right?
Yeah.
right. So let me ask you this. Growing up there, at that certain time, was it hard to have access to like hip hop music for you? Like, did you have to? Because I know there's people tell stories of having to travel a couple towns over to get to the record store that had the NWA album or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's funny you asked that. I was actually just I did an interview with Hip Hop Breath. Shout out to Hip Hop Breath. Just put out the
Shout out to Lady Sue, Hip
yeah,
Hop
man,
Breath.
the
You already know the
compilation
whole
they
France.
put out is dope. Like, it was really cool to be a part of that. But I was telling they were asking me a similar question in the interview, and my parents had a deli like catering business, and right across the street was like a real deal mom and pop record store. It was called Play It Again Records, and this
Nice.
was, I'm a bit of an old man now, but I remember this was the heart of this was when I was getting into it was the days of the early days of the parental advisory stickers,
Mm-hmm.
and
Right.
I remember. I mean, this is so. The guy who owned the record store used to come into my parents' place, and so my parents knew him, and so 88, I was a little kid. I was in second grade, and I was way into Bobby Brown, My Prerogative. And so I mean, who was it? That was the greatest, that was the biggest song in the world. My mom went into the record store for Christmas because I asked for the Bobby Brown album, and she was like, "Oh, the guy who sings you would say My Prerogative," but she messed up. She didn't know what the what the name of the song was. And so whoever was working at the record store got her My Philosophy, Boogie Down Productions, by all means necessary. So on Christmas morning, when I was in second grade, my mom gave me a Boogie Down Productions tape, and that
That's
changed
fire.
Interesting.
everything. It changed
So
everything.
let me get this straight.
Damn.
Let me get this straight. You could have been on a totally different audio trajectory had your mom not mistaken one word,
Oh,
basically.
totally changed my life, man. I remember
That's
opening it, and I
crazy.
didn't want to make my mom feel bad because I was just like, this isn't Bobby Brown. But I was like, what is dude? That's KRS on the cover with the Uzi in the Malcolm X pose, like the Malcolm X
Right.
picture. And I was just like, I don't know what this is, but this is something. And then I took it and listened to it, and that has, uh, starts with "You're a philosopher," like that one, and it's got "I'm still number one" on it, and like it's just that from that point on, and then that kind of synced up perfectly with like what was on MTV Raps at that time. So it's like,
Mm.
and from there it was all downhill. It's just like that's where I started looking into, um, yeah. From there it was Gangstar and
Right.
Ice-T, all that shit. So yeah, I was that record store was everything. I used to work for my dad. He would hit me off with whatever, you know, $20, $40 for the day, and I would just go spend it all on music.
That's
What
awesome.
what
Nah,
what
that's
record
dope,
was she
bro.
supposed to get for you?
Oh, she was supposed to get. I just she just went into the record store thinking the guy who sings My Prerogative, but she screwed up My Prerogative, and they were just like, "Oh, you mean My Philosophy?" And so they gave her By All Means Necessary, and it's just like, I was in second grade, and I still know every word to that album from start to finish. I was like, "Yo, I'm not supposed to be." He did not mean to get me this, but it's too late now. Cat's out of the bag.
Yo, that is the beauty of hip hop, though, man. Like, I'm trying to think. The first album that I ever bought
Oh, I love this topic.
was from HMV, right? It was from HMV, pardon me, on 86th Street. And what is that? That's 3rd, 86 and 3rd. And this shit, like, yo, I was just happy that I was in there with my mom. She was buying something. I was just happy that she said I could get an album. You know what I'm saying? So I grabbed this shit off the shelf, and this shit is the group was called RSO. I don't know if you
Oh yeah,
guys
yeah,
remember
yeah.
or
From
know who
Boston. That's
RSO
that's
is, right?
Benzino, right?
Exactly. I had no idea who they were, right? But I took it home. It was my first album. I memorized that shit, and that was my first experience in purchasing, a piece of art, purchasing a CD of my own, purchasing an album. After that, all right, I wouldn't say that I was necessarily on the wrong track in purchasing that album. I just didn't know what I was getting, right? She said, get something, I grabbed something, and we out. After that, I bought the Fugees, The Score. And that was like my intro to the hip
That's
hop.
not a
You know
bad
what I'm
intro,
saying?
man.
So
Right.
what made
Right.
you pick the RSO joint?
It was the cover.
What's the
I was a
cover? I'm
kid.
curious.
All right, so like if I can remember correctly, it's Benzino and a couple other dudes standing around. They all got like that back then it was the baggy jean outfits and the Timbs and the fucking visors and shit like
Yeah, yeah,
that.
yeah.
And they're like standing in front of cars and like some project building. And I just got it because that was, if I think about it now, I grabbed it probably because that
Look
was
like some fly shit.
what it looked like. Yeah, it looked like some fly shit, but it was also very familiar to
Right,
me
right.
from seeing it every day, from being exposed to you know what I'm saying, just how the city life is. And yeah, man, that's why I grabbed it. And don't get me wrong, yo, that album is dope.
Yeah,
That album is dope. You know what I'm saying? But the Almighty RSO, that was the name of the
yeah.
album.
That's one thing
Um,
that's kind of missing, in this generation is just the days of like, yo, this cover looks dope. So I don't know what the music is,
right,
but it's like
right.
I was mentioning Gangstar before. Same thing. I bought Gangstar from, I think, Columbia House. Remember the magazine, or the,
Yep.
what do you call it? Like it was Columbia House and BMG where you could get like,
The
yeah, the
mailaways, the
mail-away joint.
mailaways.
And I was
Yup,
just like,
yup.
Gangstar. All right, like I'm in. Like whatever. Like, I don't know what they sound like, but but yeah, man,
You
it used to
see?
be like the name, the cover, before you even heard the music, you just be like, no, I think this is gonna be dope.
Right. And then you might get a dud though, because motherfuckers just put money into the cover art
Yeah.
and then you grab some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? But yo, Zuki, let's go with you, bro. Where you from, man? A little bit of background on you for the people who don't know.
Well, I'm from the Lower East Side of Manhattan.
Facts.
Born and raised, basically. Spent a little time in Queens. Yeah, that's where I'm
Got you.
from, and just proud to be a New York native. You know what I'm saying? It definitely
I
helped
hear
shape
that.
shape my
Let's go,
time.
Knicks.
Yeah, thanks.
Let's go, Knicks. Randall, you better not fumble this, bro. You better not fumble. We on the world stage, nigga. All right. Yo, so what are some of your direct influences, bro? Like, who would you consider coming up, listening to albums? You know what? Let's dial this back. Let's spin this back. What was your first album that introduced you to hip hop? Let's spin this back real quick, and we're going. Yeah, I wanna hear your reaction for that.
So I came up a little later. Like I didn't
Okay.
really have well, there was record stores around, but as a kid, you don't really know about that shit.
Right.
Like you just know, like you're off your favorite artists and shit you hear on the radio. 'Cause back then, we didn't have phones and streaming services, so you really had to do your research and really dig up
Right.
on these artists and like it was more like personal, more relatable because you had to really get in tune with an artist to like actually be motivated enough to leave your crib and go to the store to buy it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
That's a fact.
so
Or somebody put you on or something like that,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
Right.
So back then as a kid, I would be going home from school and shit, and I would always pass by this like you know the mixtape spots. I think they might still have some in the city, but you know they be having like the T-shirts and like just random accessories, and then they had like a whole layout of like different albums, bootleg. You know
Right,
what I
right,
mean?
right. The little cuts, them little cuts right
Yep.
there. Yeah, I know what you're talking
hmm
about, bro.
So
Oh yeah.
my first two albums I bought unofficially was I think the Marshall Mathers LP, and I
Mm,
think it was Ludacris Word of Mouth. Those are the first two
okay.
official like
All right.
albums I bought. And but I also officially I made my uncle take me to Virgin Record Store and I made him copy me the parental advisory version of Favorite to Die Trying because I didn't want the
Mm,
clean shit. Like
yeah, yeah, I know about it. Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
wanted the one with the
The
cursive.
Walmart
So it was a
versions.
little awkward asking him like, no, I don't want this one. I kind of want to hit it like curses. And he was just like, whatever. So yeah, those three albums right there, probably my first three.
Yep, yeah. Get
That's
Rich or Die
dope.
Trying was I mean, that was a that that when that was on the scene, that was a. There's very few rappers that have
What
showed
year
up
was
the way
that?
that he
That made a
did.
splash like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that was '03, and it was. I
Yeah,
remember that was like, yo, this guy's
Wow.
coming, man, because he was his buzz was crazy. Like that
oh
was the
three. Oh man, that was a crazy year.
Yo,
yeah,
that was 20 years
Yeah,
ago, though,
dude.
gentlemen.
it's
20
nuts, man.
I
years
was
ago.
12 years old, bro.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah, that was just an undeniable debut. Like that was that was just.
That was like a
I mean,
shift in the culture I felt too a little bit, like as far as like
Absolutely.
the sound of hip hop. Like it started becoming a little more grimy and like like I don't know, like gangster rap really started hitting at that time.
yeah, there
Yeah,
was
you know
definitely
what
like
it was.
yeah, a lot of the mainstream like that was when the Neptunes were on fire and were just like
Yup.
that was something that just kind of came out and was similar to like um almost like DMX in '98 was very
You
like he wasn't there, and then there was a buzz, and then he just took over, and like 50 Cent did that too. That was really something to see.
Yeah,
Right. It's like always like there's every couple years there's somebody who comes around who kind of shifts the flow of
yep,
things,
exactly.
you know? So in your guys' opinion, who would be the last person to really shift the flow
Pop
of
Smoke.
of the way things are going? Pop Smoke?
I
Okay.
mean, look at the sound now. It's just like it's
Yeah.
modeled after what he. I mean, granted, that sound was like it's like that's like UK kind of.
Right, right. It originates from
hmm
over there, the grime
Right.
movement and whatever. Yeah, yeah.
But if we just talking strictly in the States, he was the first big artist on that.
Nah, yeah, I agree with that.
I really like his music too.
I can see the
So
Especially
two
for the
cases.
young guys, man. You know that becomes the sound, right? That becomes the
exactly.
vibe and the look. Yeah, I agree with you on that.
As far as
Right.
shifting the sound, you know what I mean? Like after that came out, it was like everything is drill.
Right. Yeah,
hmm
yeah, okay.
Now it's kind of
I
getting a
get I
little
get your
weird,
point.
but you know,
I mean, and you know what the funny thing is? It's like, yo, the generations happen so quick these days. You know what I'm saying? The generations of music, at least, like Pop Smoke is already almost a different generation than what we
yep,
dealing with now when we talking about K Flocks
yep.
and a lot of the younger dudes out there doing it, Sleepy Hollows and them niggas. You know what I'm saying? So, nah, yeah, I agree with that. Yo, Zook, I wanted to ask you, man. I wanted to talk about, you and Verb, man. You guys got such crazy chemistry when it comes to recording music and just putting together complete projects. Can you just elaborate a little bit about that for people who don't know?
So for people who don't know, me and Bird got like a long rapport. Probably that we known each other since probably like 2012 or something. You know,
Right.
we've been doing music since. Like we met. I think I seen his like SoundCloud link or some shit on like Facebook, and you know, I clicked it and I'm like, okay, this is dope. So I like sent him a message like, yo, I got beats and shit. What's up? Let's work. And it just turns out that we from the same neighborhood and like we got like a ton of mutual friends. So it's
Right.
like, wow, we could actually known each other, but we met through music. So it's destiny, is it not? So I feel like that also plays a part into our chemistry. But I do stress like, I mean, you see what we've done. I do stress
Nah, yeah, absolutely.
just making a connection with an artist, first of all, like with a person. Like,
Right.
you gotta, like nowadays, it's mostly, yo, I'm gonna fly that verse, I'm gonna send this hook, blah blah blah, through email. There's no real studio experience. I mean, as far as like trying to come up in the game, now it's just like, oh, I'm gonna record in my crib, or I'm gonna go to someone's studio and I'm gonna send this verse. Like, I'd rather
Right.
just sit with the dude, like like chill and really come up with an idea and just like really tap in and elaborate on an idea. Even when it comes to the production, like I like to be inclusive. I like to have the artist there. But I could pull up some beats that I got and we could shape something from that. But definitely just making a connection with the artist definitely helps in like building that chemistry.
Nah, yo, I totally agree with
That's
that.
important,
And
man.
yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I got projects with both of these guys, and I can't say enough about them, man. Both professional, both will just, they'll spend hours in the studio creating, willing to create. You know what I'm saying? Off the whim. So it's like that means a lot, especially today. And
What's the name of you guys' project? My bad. I gotta listen to that.
our project is Saints on Swivel.
Okay,
That's
yeah.
the ROT
This was
project
actually
with Scene 5.
uh,
And then me and Scene 5 have a project prior to that called The Fifth Scene. That dropped in 2013 or 2014,
Yeah, it's been a while.
something like that.
Yeah,
It's been a long time.
actually,
Shout out to E.
I was just
It was
listening to I was listening to Saints the other night, man, and like just to build off of what you were saying about like being in the studio. There's the track Rip Torn. I was laughing like just because I remember making that beat and just it was this crazy sample of Rip Torn on on drugs in the 70s. It was like one of those hippie movies where everybody's just all on acid and they just let people like it was just such, some free flowing hippie shit, and this dude goes crazy with the hammer. And I was like making the beat while I think it was right when Rip Torn died, and he was like infamous for that.
yeah.
And so I
Yo,
added it to
rest
the
in peace
beat,
to Rip Torn.
and I remember playing it for you guys, thinking like, all right, this might be a little out there, but I think this is like at the very least interesting. And you guys hopped on board and had a hook like immediately, and like that's the beauty of being in the same room and
Yeah,
knocking it out. Like I could have easily just sent the beat and been like, here's this beat, but I was, it was just some funny spontaneous thing.
yeah,
And years later, I listened back to it and I'm just like, yo, that's like it makes me happy to kind of. I remember
awesome.
I remember being there when it came together. So it's fun to, like I said, be in person, just kind of
facts,
watch an idea grow. It's great.
facts.
You know how like the way the energy translates from you and us to the record is fire. So it's like you tell us what your idea was when you made that and named it. It's like, oh shit, that's fire. Hammer to your head cause a Rip Torn. Then we do what we do, and then energy comes together to be this thing.
And
So
it was
it's
it was quick too. It was like that's how at least for me. Like I just felt like, oh, this is beautiful. Like this was meant to happen exactly like this.
That's that
Right.
organic
No, yeah,
energy.
I agree.
It's natural
Yeah.
comes
Right.
to you. I feel like as a producer, it's kind of fire to like present your beat to somebody as opposed to sending it.
Hell yeah.
Especially if you
Definitely,
got an
definitely.
artist in mind, it's like, okay, now I could play this for him and I could be like, yo, we could do this, or you could do this.
Yeah. Yeah, with Bugs and
Nah,
Tay,
that's a
it's
fact.
been. I mean, we're kind of infamous for that. There's many times where I'm just like, I'll have like 3 beats that I think are a home run, and then so I'll keep those in the cut, and then I have 1 or 2 that I'm kind of lukewarm about, and then you guys will just like knock it out of the park. Like, no, this is the one.
Oh
I'm just
my
like,
gosh,
kind of,
dude. That
Right,
happens
we
to
need
me
all the
all the
beats.
time. My
yeah. You know
worst,
what? Like,
I feel like this is my worst beat. Someone just comes and they're like, yo, this is, they're stuck.
You be
yeah,
like,
man.
word?
I've learned now.
Is?
I kind of just like let the universe do what it does, but I no longer. I'm just like, it's easy to be like, this is my expectation of this beat is good and this beat is, whatever. But that's the beauty of collaborating, when I'll throw something on and just be like, oh, this is just some average whatever. And then again, there's stuff on Saints that I did not think, like the original beat, I didn't think too highly of. And then now when I listen back to it, I'm just like, oh yeah, this is dope.
I feel like,
This
I feel
is
like that's
heat.
Right.
something I had to get over. It's like a
Yeah,
learning curve as a producer. Because you said, like
definitely, definitely.
you set your own expectations, and it's like the shit is not that great, Like I don't hear nobody on this, but sometimes the artist is that last piece to the beat. Is what I'm learning.
Right.
Right.
So like, how you're making a beat, and you might not finish it because you feel like something's missing, and it's like, ugh. Sometimes you play that for somebody, and they're like, oh shit, and they rap on it, and it's like, yo, this beat sounds amazing now,
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Mm.
and
It
it's
is.
Right. What they added
yeah,
to it. Yep.
it's the secret sauce sometimes. So that's again the
Yeah,
beauty of collaborating.
yeah, yeah.
Nah,
A
yeah.
lot of times it also comes from, like, my view on a track will come from how much effort it took to make it. Sometimes it comes together real easy, and I'm just like, I'll hear a sample, loop it up, and like chop it, pitch it, whatever, add some drums, and I'm like, oh, this is dope, but it doesn't, like, I don't feel that invested in it.
Hmm.
And so it just kind of sits on the hard drive, and then eventually I play it for somebody and they'll take it and run with it. But then there's those beats that like are just a labor, and you just feel like you put so much into it. And I guess that kind of at times will inflate like how important I think,
Yeah,
you know what
I
I mean?
feel
For
that.
lack of a better
I
word.
feel
It's
that
like,
100%.
yeah,
Makes sense because for you, it's like, oh, it didn't give me, it wasn't enough effort, right? It wasn't that taxing on me. So
Yeah,
wasn't that, but at the same time, it's like the person that's listening to it and digesting it as an artist, like, I don't
they
know
don't
that. It's like, oh
fucking
my,
know, bro. And
when I
you could
feel it
yeah,
spend
right now.
hours on the beat, and someone will listen to it and be like, "Yo, play the next one." And I'm just there like, "Yo, bro, I spent 3 hours on that shit, man. You're not even gonna let me play
yeah,
it."
You
yeah. Well,
gotta play this for at least 15 more
that's
seconds, fam.
Seriously, bro.
I love, that's what's great, you know, nowadays with podcasts and stuff. You're starting to, I mean, it's been happening for years, but you hear producers and artists opening up in these interviews that, like, it's all the information I wanted when I was super, like, way younger.
Yeah.
Like, I was listening
Mm.
to DJ Premier's episode of the Questlove podcast, and Questlove is just like, his ability to interview is because he's such a music, like, he's, a nerd or whatever you want to call it, but like he knows so much that he doesn't mess around with like bullshit everyday questions. Like, he asks the real stuff. And he got Premier talking about Memory Lane for Nas,
Mm.
and he said Nas was just insistent upon that sample, and Premier makes his beats on the spot. And so he was just like, I like basically it in a roundabout way, Nas was just like, no, this is the sample. And Premier was on some more like New York State of Mind. Like, he wanted him to come harder than that. He's like, this is this pretty, soul song. And so he kind of begrudgingly made it for Nas. And it's crazy to hear him talk about that. He was just like, I didn't want to do this. It's like, that beat like changed my life. That is just an incredible song. And it was really just Nas kind of, twisting his arm a bit to make it. It's funny how that comes together.
Nah, yeah, definitely. I think you know what? I think it's important that when you're in the studio and you're creating, you got different personalities in there. I think it's important that people step out of their comfort zones and push the limits on, what you're trying to sound like. I think it's important to do that. Experiment at least. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right, listen. we are all connoisseurs of the Mary Jane, the marijuanas. You know what I'm saying? I
Indubitably.
want to go down the list, and I want to see what's your favorite bud?
Wow.
Everybody. Zook, I'm gonna start with you.
Sunset Sure, easy.
Sunset Sherbet.
Easy money.
Okay. All right. So just because of the smell, because of the buzz, or just all
of the
around?
above. I'm more of like an indica fan, so I know
Okay.
I think it might be indica dominant. But I do know that taste is just unmatched. And
Right.
anything with a Sherb cross, like I could fuck with it. That's my favorite thing.
Got you. Indica dominant. Got
It
you.
is.
All right, yo, Sean, man. Scene 5. What's the word, bro? What's your favorite bud?
2006 sour diesel.
Oh shit.
Yeah, but
Go.
that doesn't
Yeah.
even exist anymore.
I know, man. But like I said, play
That
for
But
was
five.
that is
specific.
top tier right there. Facts.
I remember when I used to bring that when I would go back to visit my friends back in PA, and yeah, that was the first like I had friends that would casually smoke, and they're just like, "Oh, you're in town. Like, I'll smoke a little bit." I'm just like, "Yo, this is different. This is some."
Mhm.
And yeah, that stuff had people just if you weren't ready for it, you get rocked. But I got this stuff now called Black Ice, which is I think pretty indica dominant, which is nice. I actually been it's it's funny now because everything's so available in New York, which is it's kind of a trip to think of. Like,
I love it.
Right.
you know, yeah, it's crazy. You can just walk into
Smoke it.
like there's a weed store like right down the street from me, and it's I've lived here for I mean I just moved back to New York, but I lived in East Harlem for a long time,
Oh,
and it's just funny to walk down the street and you can get a weed milkshake. Like it's crazy.
no.
Uh,
That is
uh,
A weed
Mhm.
milkshake,
yeah,
sir?
yeah, juice, milkshakes. There's this place
What the
called
fuck?
Lamb's Bread right down the street from me, and it is
Oh no, it's the Jamaicans. It's the Jamaicans in there.
they're not Jamaican, but they're like it's just great, man. There's all sorts of they do yeah, they make like weed butter, so there's all sorts of infused breakfast dishes and shit. Like it's
that's
crazy. It's
fire.
Wow.
absolutely great. Like it's good. It's an awesome thing, but it's yeah, it's been nice to I come from I remember just like kind of classifying everything as just it's just weed, and then now it's like you can look at a menu and it's got all sorts of measurements of how it'll help you sleep and this and that. So it's exciting times to say the least.
Yo, no, I hear you. We got to stop over there. Yo, bro. So I'm thinking, this is a side note. I'm thinking that all of us got to get into a session. You know what I'm saying? At that one spot in Queens. I'm thinking all of us got to get into like a 12-hour session one day.
Definitely,
You know what
man.
I'm saying?
Yeah,
Oh
But yeah,
yeah.
going
I'm
into
down.
that, all right, bet we're gonna lock that in. I'll talk to you guys after to get some specifics. But yo, scene 5, man, you got a lot of touring experience. Can you share just a little bit of that? You know, what you've been up to? I know you're a busy man. Just let us know what you've been up to, you know what I'm saying? For the fans who want to know,
Oh,
you know?
yeah, man. Thanks. It's been an exciting. Well, it was man early 2020 when we knocked out the Saints album, and we
Right.
had planned to release it in April of 2020, and then of course COVID happened, and
Mm-hmm.
it's it's weird to think of now because it's been almost exactly 3 years, but
It's crazy.
that at that particular time when we recorded that, I was very busy working. My main thing is mixing sound for bands and live events, and everything
Right.
was just lovely. At the beginning of 2020, I was like, man, this is going to be a great year financially. I got I was working on music like crazy, and then that kind of turned everything upside down. So to make a long story longer, I moved to Austin, Texas, mainly because things were just so crazy here, and I was just sick of sitting around. And went down to Texas where there was no COVID. You could just it was just normal. And
It didn't
Right.
work out over
They
there.
didn't even acknowledge that
yo,
shit. How the fuck does that work?
it's crazy,
It
man.
don't
I
exist over there.
remember I moved there. I hung in for a while. I was just like, all right, let me see what's happening in New York. But I try to give myself a pat, like a I try to forgive myself basically because people be like, yo, why did you just up and move to Texas? And I was like, people forget so quickly how crazy everything was that it, like the politicians here were saying, and I'm not like, politics aside, they were saying like, if and when we ever get back to events and concerts. And I'm like, what do you mean if? Like, this is my,
If and when.
yeah. I was like, yo, I can't just sit in my apartment forever. Like, this is great. And I was super productive during it. But at the same time, I was like, yo, I'm going to go crazy if I don't have, there isn't something to work towards or some sort of normalcy. And so I went down to Texas and it was just normal. I lived there for a year and a half. Um, but to go back to the original question, one of the things that came out of that was I hit up a friend of mine who was also from IAR to let him know I was going to be using him as a reference. And he was like, yo, what are you doing in Texas? And I was like, to be honest, man, I don't know. But he's like, I just had to turn down this tour for this band, Home Shake. Shout out to Home Shake. And yeah, man, I went all over the country last year. And then we went to Europe. Yeah, Home Shake's like a really,
That's dope.
I mean, it's tough to put them into a genre. I guess you could say like indie pop, whatever, but it's, yeah, just really talented people, man. Great music, like very chill and just really good people. My friend was just like, yo, because I was like, I'm gonna commit to get into a van with complete strangers for the next 7 weeks. Like this is
Right.
this isn't a little
Right.
commitment. And my friend Billy was just like, yo, he's like, trust me. It's like these are good people. You're good at your job. Like you're gonna hit it off. And now we're all like best friends,
Are you guys still
which is
touring?
beautiful. Um, he went. So Home Shake is they tour as a full band, but Peter, the front man, it's kind of his project. So he toured relentlessly. Even the tours that I wasn't on, he went as a solo act. So he was on the road all of last year. And as far as I know, no tours this year, but I think we're going to get busy next year, which is nice. So,
Mm.
yeah, it's I don't know. I can see why people would not want to tour, but for me, I wish I had discovered it
That's dope.
when I was younger because for me it just like it's perfect. Like when we were finishing the US tour last year, I mean we went everywhere. I met them in Toronto and we just went down the East Coast, across the South, up the West Coast. I think we did like
It's fire.
33 shows in like 42 days.
Damn.
Like just basically hit like every major American
Yo,
city. But it's just
can I
it's
That
pick
shit
your
is a
brain about something?
grind, yo.
sure.
Touring wise, so as a band, would you say it's easier to put together a tour, or is it just like is it about the following that you have? Do you have to have enough like fans? Like how does that work? Because as a hip hop artist, like I guess my question is it harder for a hip hop artist, like an indie hip hop artist, to put together a tour like that?
Well, I mean, I definitely got sort of whatever you want to call it, like grandfathered into like these guys have paid their dues.
Okay.
Um, I saw videos of them playing like, coffee houses and like small clubs and shit. And then now, like when we went to LA, we sold out the Wiltern, which is I think like 2,200 people, something like that. So yeah, I'm just a sound guy, but I got to sort of hop into a already pretty high functioning I don't want to say machine, but like
No, I get it.
just good people that were at it. Like it was a very family oriented. Like I imagine touring would be tougher. Like I kind of, when you think of like bands that are just legendary and work together and they make such great music, but now they hate each other and they can't be in the same room with one another. I can imagine that if you're touring with people that aren't where everybody isn't on the same page, that could be a grind. But luckily, like I said, I kind of just like took up this position among a group of people that were already, it was a nice like mutual respect. Everybody kind of just played their position, and musically the following was there. So,
Right.
like I said, it was just Yeah. Touring is I guess it kind of depends a lot on the the one, how old you are, and how you're what you're willing to commit to, because it is a strange way to live. If I could, some of the guys were, I mean, luckily nobody on the tour had kids or anything, but everybody's got, loved ones and stuff. So it is strange to just be out in the middle of nowhere. Like some days you're just, sitting outside the tour bus, like, what am I doing here? I'm like, you know, uh, I'm just like sitting on the curb of some, whatever you call it, Stop and Shop in Kansas. It's just kind of like,
That
I don't know.
sounds so dope. I want that. I want to
It is
wonder
fun, man.
about my life in Kansas.
Yeah,
Dope.
I loved it, man. It's funny because Peter he could not have been more welcoming and a cool dude, but he kind of had his, I could see that takes a toll on, when it comes to just being on the road a lot. Like if you don't like it, I could imagine that it's not very fun. But for me, I hadn't really gotten super comfortable in Austin, so I was just like, yo, let's get in the van. I'll go wherever. You know what I mean? When it was over, actually, that is the thing that kind of motivated me to move back to New York, because I left Texas. I was on the road for like 6.5 weeks, and when I got home, I wasn't happy to be there, and I was like, all right, that lets me know this isn't the spot. And so
Right.
within a month, I started cooking up my plan. I was like, all right, I got to get back to New York. So, but
Listen, man, we glad you back,
yeah,
bro.
yeah, man, it's beautiful. I just
Glad you
Yeah,
back.
I
it
got
was a
one
nice.
more question for him, and then Muggs, my bad. You got one more
Yo,
question.
listen, this is
Yeah, sure.
this is open, bro. Go ahead.
So have since you've been around, have you ever had like bands replay a sample?
Um, you mean like they take something that's like make a beat off of a sample and then replay it live, or
No, like replay the actual sample and then you sample that.
oh yeah, absolutely. I actually do that a lot myself with I can play a little guitar and a little bass. But yeah, that's actually kind of what I like to do is not so much a trick, but sometimes if I find a good not necessarily replay a sample, but if I find some, let's just say some strings or a bass line or something, a lot of times I will go to the original song and I'll just play guitar over top of it, or like,
Dope.
keys or something. And then I will bounce that as its own file, and then I'll sample that. So it's almost as if my contribution is baked into the original song.
That's fire.
Right.
So I love
This
to do that
on the
because
reins. That's dope.
yeah,
Dope, man.
yeah, I've been trying to get a little more into playing a lot of live stuff, because I love sampling, but it's kind of, I get more satisfaction out of it when I listen back to something and be like, oh, that's a dope sample that kind of started the direction the beat was going. But even if it's just a quick little chord here or there, I'm like, oh, that's me,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
I hear that. That's dope, man. I think, for anybody who's serious about recording and making music, I think touring, the idea of eventually touring is something that we all look forward to and, and dream about, really. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? But to segue, yo, Zook, me and you have an impeccable album together. It's called The Emporium. Um I had a great time. I really
That shit heat,
enjoyed
bro.
the sessions and all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's talk a little bit about the Emporium, bro. You
Let's
know what
talk
I'm
about
saying?
it.
Like for you, how was the beat creating process? Because let me tell you guys, anybody who's listening, this man cooked up all of them beats on the fly.
Yes,
So
sir.
we would go to the studio, niggas would roll up, put one up in the air. He start cooking, I start writing, and before you know, we got a song. But
I
yeah, I'm gonna
I
let you
think we
tell it, man. I'm
actually
gonna let you
like
tell it.
we would look for samples together and be like, yo, that shit's on fire, and I'll just load
Right?
it up and start talking to it. But
Yo,
But I
crazy.
mean, going into it, I don't really remember because my memory is tight. So like, I smoked a lot of high grade. Um,
Oof,
but
pressure.
fucking, did we go into it with the idea of like, oh, this is gonna be the important, or was it? I feel like it was just we
Nah,
created, and then we just created a sound. We was like, oh, this sounds like. Was it that?
right,
I
right.
think
I
it was
feel
that.
like not definitely. I don't think we went in. The Emporium, like the name, came afterwards. You know what I'm
What
saying?
song? What song?
Um,
Did the name come after the bar you dropped? And what is it? The Emporium?
I think the name came after the
He made the
song.
Emporium song and then was like, "This is gonna be the Emporium."
I
Mm,
think that's what it was.
Yeah,
The
man.
name
That
came
was
after the song.
fall 2020, right?
That was
yeah,
20. It dropped 2020, but we was creating that probably since the end of 2018. To be
Oh
honest with
it
wow,
was
okay.
sporadic. It was sporadic, but
you, we was definitely yeah.
man, we got to do more
Um,
work, bro.
Yo, bro, you know what the thing is? Listen, I got a couple albums that I hold dear to my heart. Like, don't get me wrong, we got a deep catalog, and all of them is fire, and they all represent a piece of me in some sort of way, right? But if I had to list the top three right now, it would be Emporium, Saints on Swivel, and then Midnight Run with Jack Diggs. Shout out Jack Diggs. Shout out the whole UK.
Well,
He just sent me a pack of fire beats. We
let's
cooking.
go.
Um,
Yeah.
listen,
You say he sent you some
the
beats?
Emporium. He
Let's
sent me some
go.
fire beats. I'm gonna get them to
Tell
you.
that
I'm
man
gonna get
not
them
tell
to
that
you.
man beats too. Let's go.
I'm gonna get them to you, bro. You already know. Um, the Emporium means so much to me. You know what I'm saying? If I had to say an album that, okay, if I'm setting aside my favorite, and if I had to say an album that means the most to me, it's the Emporium because of the way it was created, and that goes to reference back to when you guys were speaking on, the importance of being in the
Yeah,
studio and recording in
that
the
shit would have never
studio.
happened,
So yeah, man, like the whole vibe of that album is crazy, bro. I was running just to get prepared for the interview before we started locking in. I was listening to Saints on Swivel and the Emporium, and it's like, yo, man, those albums are like them shits is in stone. You know
hmm
what I'm saying? Like
in the book of mugs.
there's
But
that like
you know what
yeah,
too?
yo, listen, that's the book of us, bro. You see, that's the problem. That's the point of this here podcast, bro, because that's your book too, and that's Scene 5 book too. You know what I'm
Feel that?
saying? Like, I'm the artist, yeah, I'll be out front with it, but at the end of the day, this shit don't, like, I could write the bars and I could spit the bars a cappella, but without these
It'd be
beats,
spoken word.
Yeah.
yeah, what are we really talking about,
It'd be
bro?
spoken word.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying?
But even
But
with what was I say? Just like if you don't like, even with producer and rappers, like to have that connection, if it doesn't resonate with the producer and the rapper, the guys are creating this medium, how am I supposed to fuck with it as a consumer, right? As a fan, as somebody that's supposed to tap in with it. So the best thing we could do is kind of align with each other and bring our ideas together because people can feel it, and if they could resonate, right? If we're not resonating on it, they're not gonna be able to resonate on it.
Bro, you know when you listen to a
right,
record, you just know, bro. Like you could tell it was forced, and it's just like even the verses sound different. It's just like it's not the same. You feel me? Like it's just
Yeah,
the whole energy is off.
Yeah, it's definitely you
right,
can tell, and I think a lot of especially in hip hop, it's strange. I mean, now there's so many different formats to release stuff, but it was a funny thing, kind of in the. I mean, I guess it's always happened, but like when somebody is just a incredible MC, and then when they get to their major label debut, they have to, they kind of have to like spoon feed some
You have to follow the
something that
format.
doesn't. Yeah, like you can hear. I mean, I don't want to throw any throw any names out there, but like there's sometimes you hear it's just like, yo, this is not what you it's not what you do. Like I
Right.
don't like you can tell when the artist loves it and they know that they're just doing they're following their interest. So it's like I'm
right.
making music that I like and then therefore it resonates.
Yeah, you can tell
But
when a product is made for the consumers, and these dudes are just like,
right,
these labels are just manufacturers, basically. It's like, oh, we need a love
Yeah.
song. Oh, we need a song about killing people. Oh, we need a song about this. And you have no choice
yeah,
because
Yeah.
yeah.
They
that,
do.
that
I-
you know,
Nah, for real, man. All you guys have valid points, you know. But listen, yeah, I just feel like the Emporium, going back to the
yes,
Emporium, man,
yes.
that shit is so crazy. Everybody got to check that out. For anybody who's listening, go check out Mugs on Drugs and Zuki, the
Production
Emporium.
wise,
It's a whole
that's one of
album.
my best albums. No cap.
Yo, bro, and I
No cap.
appreciate that. The fact that you can say that, because listen,
I need people to hear
there's gonna
that.
be people, right. There's gonna be people who hear this who don't know any of us, right? This guy right here got joints, bro. I'm not lying to you. Like, y'all need to go check out Zuki and Verb, both Renaissance editions. The New
Act
York
one and
Renaissance,
two,
both of
facts.
those. Act 1 and 2, I'm telling you, if you into New York hip hop, if you into that lyrical, make you think, yo, my man Verb got bars for days, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, no lie, go check
You know
those.
what I say
Zuki is a
too.
That kid is
monster.
nice.
Yo,
yeah,
What I
facts.
say too is like, so it's like what you and Verb got is similar to what me and Muggs got in the yin and yang format, right?
Absolutely.
And it's like when you come together with somebody that's talented, it makes you want to do more. It makes you be like, oh, I gotta step my shit up. You heard what he's okay, watch what I, you know what I mean? And so, yeah, it's like it's always gonna be an additive when you guys come together because you're both creatives. Like I remember because I only went a couple times for that Emporium joint to record my
Right.
verses, right? And it's like those are my favorite verses ever because we was just in there vibing. You kind of feed off of the energy that's
Yeah,
going off, right? It's like it don't feel dialed in. You know
right.
what I mean? So yeah, just good energy coming together, but then quality people and quality talent coming together. That's what's gonna happen.
There's also,
yeah, man.
yeah,
You
to add to that, there's also a certain quality that comes from actually being able to be comfortable around the artist and being like, no, like
Mm.
I prefer this, and it's vice versa. Like I'm completely open to have an artist be like,
Right.
nah, bro, put
Right.
this before the hook, and like that's the dynamic me and Verb have. We have that comfort zone where we could just be like, nah, bro, don't do that. Like this is better, and a lot of that is lost nowadays. So it's just like a lot of cut and dry shit that comes out. No heart.
It's crazy
Best
because
music gonna be
man,
made from that.
that's a fact. Me and Tay got the
Yeah,
same
bro.
outlook in the studio.
Push each
Like,
other,
listen,
right? Like,
and me and you, even to speak. You know what? I would say all of us. All of us. I've worked with all of you in the studio, and I can say that I have that relationship with all of you. Like, I'm open to whatever suggestions you have. I'll try. I'll try to if my verse sound off, and I ask you what you think, and you say do this. You guys know I'm gonna get it the next take. I'm gonna get what you said I should do the next time. You know what I'm saying?
yep,
So it's like, nah, yeah, I really appreciate the working relationship I have with all three of you.
of course,
oh,
bro.
definitely, man.
Um,
Yeah, I was just gonna add. I remember, speaking of, um, I remember. I mean, you guys put out a lot of content in 2020, and that was just
yeah, we went
obviously
Yep.
a
crazy. We went
strange,
crazy.
like, asterisk kind of year for everybody because people were kind of, for me, I was just completely out of work. Like the world was going crazy, and you guys still stuck to the plan, which was I remember early 2020, like the Saints sessions. I think are a total. I think we met maybe 3 times, but the bulk of it was done in two Like I think you guys knocked out like 6 or 7 songs
Right.
each, like in 2 different sessions. And I
Wow.
remember you guys kind of game planning, like, "Yo, this is what we're doing this year." And sure enough, man, everybody was all disconnected and locked down, but you guys just kept coming. And I remember just because I had to get like on a really rigid schedule just to kind of stay sane because nothing was
Right.
happening.
Hmm.
And I remember just like every whatever it was, every couple weeks you guys would drop something. I do remember the Emporium coming out. I was like, listen to
And
it
you know what?
immediately, just like, yo, I gotta start shopping, man.
Yo, bro,
Let's
straight
go.
motivation. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Straight motivation. But yeah, I could, man, there's some stories, bro. Like, the world was upside down. and me and this man was locked in the fucking booth. Like at that point, the booth was the closet. I'm talking about, bro. I'm talking about 14-hour days. I'm talking about 10 tracks a day. Fucking 100 degrees in the booth. Fucking 95 degrees outside the booth. Like you got to understand, like the will to want to do good and to deal with these type of conditions. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
Facts, man.
me and him was locked in, bro. Like, there's been times, and that even before that, like, bro, there's been times where, yo, like, we recorded the whole International Waters album in one night, nigga.
Yeah.
For sure.
In one night, we did that whole album. That album is regarded as a classic. Copenhagen Crates sold out.
Yeah, man.
Sold
You
out.
guys had just got back from Europe too, right?
Nah, that's way
Yeah,
before.
actually, the
That's way
international
before.
worship kind of pushed it for us to be like, oh, we could go out there because people fuck with us. So
Yeah.
Right.
No, I mean I know the album was, but you guys were overseas like right before COVID, right? Like early 2020.
Yeah, man. Like, yo, man. If I, in retrospect, when I look at that time, man, I don't live with regrets. I'm not the type of person who lives with regrets, right? But when I look at that time, man, it's like we was on such a trajectory. We was like a fucking, yo, we were moving, bro. We had a lot of momentum behind us at that point. And we took the trip overseas. And as soon as we came back, the world shut down.
crazy.
Yeah, man. Crazy
Like,
times.
it's so wild that I think about it because, like, yo, we had just, shout out to the Discovery in Birmingham. We had just linked with the oldest record store in Birmingham, England. The oldest record store in the city. We
Oh,
linked
you
with
gotta
them.
take me
They
there.
was ready to take a shipment of records. Yo, we out, bro. As soon as we get the shit
Yeah, we
together,
could
we're
go
going
out there.
back over there. They was ready to take a shipment of records, bro. Like, yo, man, cool. Everything was good. We planted the flag out there. We hit a bunch of different cities. We hit Birmingham, London, and Leeds. Shout out to everybody we linked with. You know what I'm saying? From Jack Diggs to Yellow Balaclava
YB.
to Quincy Jones. Shout out to my nigga YB back on the scene, yo. But yeah, man, it was just a monumental trip. And to have, we was about to come back like hit the ground fucking running. Like the plan was we was coming back and a year after that we was out of there. You know what I'm saying? And everything shut down, bro. And I think it put a damper just on, you know what it is, man? A lot of people died, bro. A lot of people died and a lot of people were dying around that time. So it's like, yeah, everybody was locked in, but it was such a tense time, such a time when nobody really knew what was going on. The government's playing games, this and that. So it's like, I think, you know, the world events kind of shifted our momentum. But I say that to say this, we back, we more focused than
Yo,
ever. This is the gray area, you know
can
what I'm saying? And
can
yeah,
can,
man,
can you
happy to be
just
here.
touch on real quick how the whole momentum in the overseas came about? Like you said, the international waters kind of like
Yeah,
opened
like
the gate for you.
Right.
Can you like touch more on that? Touch base more on
I'll
Absolutely,
start. So
absolutely.
we had the International Waters tape. Who was it? Quincy. Shout out to Quincy that did that. And it was picking up. So the
that?
producer
And
was,
wait, my fault. And was
yeah,
that the intention? Like, was the
was
intention
that
of
the
that
intent?
like that tape? Like, oh, we're gonna gain traction overseas with this one, or was it just like,
No. No, so
okay,
the attention coming out the gate wasn't like, okay, we're gonna drop this for
hmm
international praise, but that was the output. So the input was, okay, let's start doing more projects with producers that are in different places, right? So if you in London, you're gonna be promoting in London while we promote in New York. If you in fucking Sydney, Australia, shouts to our homie in Australia, you gonna promote in Australia,
Yo,
right? Shout out to
Dros,
Dros. We
shout
did
out to
that too.
Dros.
yo,
He
it's
back on the
heat,
scene
bro.
too. We got a link.
So our whole thing was always about like, okay, there's all these other places in the world where we might not be physically, but if I collab with artists and producers there, they'll promote it, right? And then we kind of have
hmm
the synergy where we'll promote you in New York, you promote us there. So yeah, International Waters was just the first version of that, and it did what it did. It was like International Waters because we was these two places, and we was promoting it, getting on blogs, and yeah, like he said, Copenhagen was like, oh, I fuck with this. What's up? And to that point,
Yeah.
it's like you kind of got to, as independent artists and executives of our own brands, right? We got to be
hmm
cognizant of like how we can get into a bunch of different markets, right? So I'm by myself in this one place, but how can I get into other places, right? So we were pretty good at getting those relationships, building our relationships because we were genuine, and then saying, okay, what else can we do with that? We're gonna go out there. We're gonna do a show. We're gonna do a video. We're gonna do a, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so that was the goal, and that's I feel like there's still a goal, but the COVID shit definitely made you go, you know what? Health is wealth. We make sure my family's good. I gotta figure out the fucking right. There's so many things to make sure,
Right.
just on a living level, we was okay, and then now it's like, okay, we back. So I would say, as an independent artist, yeah, you want to make sure that your music is as many places around the world as possible, and getting producers on board and other people kind of helps.
That's a gem, bro. That's a gem right there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that is one
Yeah.
thing for sure that I noticed in Europe is it's a very like I don't know how to put it. It's like they're not so genre intense as far as like if you listen to some European radio stations, they'll play some like a house song and then a hip hop song and then like
Right.
like some alternative rock shit. It's just kind of it's not as
Segregate,
you know
categorize, yeah.
I play Grand
yeah
Theft
yeah
Auto,
people
and I listen to Still Slippin' FM, and this DJ from the UK, and he does exactly that. It'd be all different type of vibes. That
Mm-hmm.
shit is dope, man.
yeah
Mm-hmm.
yeah like people I think kind of genuinely really like what they like there, and it's less I don't know,
Being
maybe
told
it's
what you like. Like here is a lot of being told what you're gonna like, right? Like
yeah
consumerism.
yeah
Hmm.
I'm not like it's funny. I've twin a niece and a nephew who are about to turn 18, and I always pick their brain for like, what are you listening to? What do you like? Why do you like it? I
Right.
just kind of it's always been fascinating to me because it's just kind of you know like what kind of drives why people are interested or what kind of catches on or whatever. But that is one thing I think like that was really cool and like the guys who was the company that printed up our Saints cassettes like that was just
Oh
really cool to
wow.
see.
Shout out to
Cat.
Illcats.
Yeah,
I know that because I just I'm working on the Mugs on Drugs website, and I just posted the Saints on Swivel.
yeah, man,
It's almost live. Mugsondrugs.com almost live.
nice.
Nice.
But yeah,
We
shout
need
out
to
to
either
Illcats.
play
Yeah,
Cats again, or we'll do it with Radiohead. But the vinyl, yep, Cats, yep.
yeah, like Radiohead, like those. There's so many. Yeah, it's just it's really a beautiful thing to kind of with the internet to you can really dial in exactly what you're into, and I think that's a beautiful thing about the European audiences is that they're just sort of authentically like I like this. It's not. It doesn't have to
Right.
have the biggest social media following, or it doesn't have to have some you know whatever some celebrity pop to it. It's just like no, I
Like
just
influence
like this
from the
music.
machine.
Yeah.
Right. Nah, yeah, man, that's dope, bro. I got a couple more questions for you guys. Everybody good on time, or you let me know? Everybody
Absolutely.
cool?
man.
We chilling?
Yeah.
Go.
All right, bet. Let me ask you guys this. Zookie, I'll start with you. What is your favorite album that you have composed? And for what
Oh
reasons?
man.
Do you know? It's a hard one. I know.
I have to say, man, probably Renaissance Act One.
Right.
I was
I
thinking
was
that
thinking
too.
that, bro. I swear to
The
you, I
way
was
y'all put
thinking
that
that.
together, like so it's the theme, it's the
Yeah,
visual, now it's the audio, it's the what it's composed of, right? So it's like y'all knew the mission
Right.
from the top to the bottom. And so from the top to the bottom, you kind of get a complete thing. You know what I mean? So I
yeah,
fuck with that.
yeah. It was like an album
Yo.
that set the stage for something that could be more than an album. Originally, we was like, yeah, we want to create some New York shit, but then we took it further and we made it something that happened in the past, like the Renaissance, where it affected the culture. Plays back into like being in the stool, coming up with the sounds first.
Mm-hmm.
There's a
Right.
lot of cuts that didn't make the album that was like we recorded, but it didn't fit the Renaissance. I guess maybe.
Right. Did those cuts ever see the light of day, or you got them in the vault still tucked
Um,
up type shit?
some of the cuts got saved for Act Two, and there's also some cuts I got in the stash. Yeah,
You see, the world needs those. All right, the world needs those. You
well,
understand me?
we coming, man.
For real.
There's work being done right now.
I know it. I know it. I seen your studio vlog. I seen your studio vlog, and I was really Listen, man, this is what
We
I
just
say.
want more content.
That's really what it's
We all
about.
do, bro.
Unfortunately, it's like
We
you got to
all
be a
do.
robot with this shit because how
It's not
algorithms
easy.
work. But at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
like if you can. So even with you as a producer, right? It's like you can make the post of you making the beat. You can make the post
Hmm.
of you saying, "Yo, rappers, where you at? Loop this beat to rap on." Then you can make a post of me
Hmm.
editing a song. So
The
it's
the the little remixes like they be
right.
doing, like yeah, I know what
One
you
of my
mean.
guys for what we doing with rap mints and all this other stuff. One of the producers shit went to like 60,000 views because I guess 3 or 4 people did their own repost, right? So the algorithm was like, oh, people like this video. 4 guys
Yeah,
reposted it and made a song. Okay, and so we got to kind of figure out how to trick the algorithm. That if
tap
you
in.
drop a beat, if I rap on it, Muggs rap on it, another person rap on it, the algorithm's like, oh, this shit is hot. So we have to
Hmm.
kind of put our content out, but also to your point of like the Renaissance you never know. Y'all might open a store called the New York Renaissance. Like you never understand where like the IP
Mm,
we create could go until you
Right.
make it inspires you, inspires the world, right? So yeah, we need to just we do need to be creators, and we also got to figure out how we can maximize and own the things we are creating.
Big facts, bro.
that's a fact, yo. Fucking 12th Street Mystery, Helm's Deep Victory. Stop playing
Let's
with the
go.
boy,
I
man.
sent them the link.
Stop playing,
I sent them the
bro.
link. I hope
All right.
you
Yo, but DeFi, man, I'm happy that you slightly mentioned that. Can you please yeah, tell everybody about what you got going on that Web3, man? And exactly kind of a little introduction to what Web3 is for those who don't know, because I'm still kind of shaky on all of that
That's a
anyway.
fact. Well, Web 1 is like when they just had information, it was read only, right? We had the beginning of the internet, you
Right.
go on there and read some shit, that was it. And Web 2 is like I could read and write. I could make social media content. I could interact to a certain level with what's going on, right? Facebook and social media, blah, blah, blah. Web 3 is kind of like the immersive internet. And when everybody's talking about metaverses and virtual reality and augmented reality, that's what we're talking about when we mean like Web 3, right? Digital collectibles.
Okay.
So in Web 2, we would have a merch pack, right? We would have, our song, somebody buy the album, you get that. Some
know.
people had the Web 2 merch pack, right? And we selling $50
Right.
shirts or the poster or whatever. Now it's with Web 3, and somebody might invest and say, hey, I like this digital asset you got. And so I'm going to pay $50 for this NFT. And it's got a song, it's got a
Right.
video, it's got access to a show when you do a show in my area. So
Real quick, bro. I'm sorry to cut you off. I'm sorry. Yo, can you just explain real quick, real breakdown, what is an NFT?
that's okay. So NFT, I would just say an NFT is a digital collectible. That's the easiest way of thinking about it. But NFT means
Okay.
non-fungible token. But that's like, don't even worry about
Okay.
that. NFT is a digital asset.
Gotcha.
It's a digital collectible.
All right. So yeah, please continue.
So
Please
for me,
continue.
it's like ROT. We did even in that year. We dropped 15 albums on our platform, our DistroKid that we upload our music. We might have did
Right.
the 100,000 streams to only get fucking $800. Like what is that, right? It's like we get fractionalized on our own.
Right.
But in Web 3, where people are doing NFT projects and need videos and photographers and videographers and music, it's like I've made few $1,000s off my music, right? In moments because the not only liquidity is there, but the value for the creators is there.
So you've seen bread already off of making music on
Correct.
Web3.
I should have
That's
I should have
excellent.
doubled down, but
That's excellent.
once I saw that popping, I'm like, damn, I need to make NFTs. I need to create a platform where we all can make NFTs. And so that's what Rap Mints is. Rap Mints is where we can go and make digital assets that complement the music we're dropping outside of So if you drop a song, you can still drop it with Spotify and all that stuff, even though they paying you a fraction. But you come to NFTs and kind of provide an extra value to people that support you. And that's how you really dominate and make more money. So yeah, the streams we know is a bullshit game. You're only getting fractions of a penny. But if you can sell an NFT, build your community and their supporters, right? That's how you make more money for yourself.
So you involved in two different platforms, right? On the Web3,
Yeah, so I'll say
you
it like this. Rap Mints is the website, it's the platform where we can get all this stuff done, right? You can drop, let's say I take Saints on Swivel. I want to take a song from there. I can upload it and say this is the Saints on Swivel digital asset, right? It's the NFT. And if you buy it, there's an
okay.
exclusive video. I'm giving away tickets to a upcoming show, right? I'm giving extra value on top of the song. Because you could go to Spotify and just be that person that listens to it. but I'm not getting supported.
Right.
You barely getting something. That's the end of the transaction. You heard the song and that's it. You walk away. And I'm not getting nothing for being the creator. Right. So when we take it to Web3, it's like, come support me in Web3 where you're going to get not only just the ability to listen to the song, but free merch. Or
So basically, there's more value all the
it's
way
right.
around.
It's a difference between it being a one-way street and a one-way transaction. When it was like Spotify owns all your shit, they're like the mafia, the audio mafia, and people are gonna listen and that's
Right.
it. You're gonna get your penny and be happy about it. But now we're peer to peer.
Okay.
Like you're supporting the artist, I'm supporting the consumer. And now it's like you getting extra, I'm getting extra. That's kind of like the new base model we're going through in the world, right? So yeah, we just
Right.
gotta, if nothing else, we the creators, all these platforms popping up, make money from us as creators. If we don't put our shit up there, they don't got nothing going. So we gotta kind of use this
Got you.
new technology to just build something for ourselves.
Now I hear that. All right. So you got Rap Mints, and that's basically the platform where people can bring their music and
That's a
showcase their
fact. You
music.
know, if you part of our ecosystem and you make a NFT, not only are we helping people build up their community in this space, right? Because obviously I've seen the power of people tapping in with the artists and want to support them. So build your community, right? But also any shows we do, Rapman's tours, metaverse shows, if you're part of the ecosystem, you're able to submit and be part of these shows. So yeah, Web3 is, if nothing else, you can add it to your toolbox of kind of networking and building that community for yourself because it's like, yo, we know the power of having 100 people buy your album in Web2 or in real life. Get 100 people that support you every drop. Well, there's 5,000 people holding certain NFTs, then 10,000 holders holding certain NFTs. And if we can create kind of that synergy with these communities, right, in Web3 that want your shit, you already got 500,000 people that tapped in with you.
Right. Okay. I got you. So we got Rap Mints for the NFT wave, bring your music, person to person transactions. Then you got something else called Culture
That's a fact.
Keepers.
And that's kind of like, I would say that's just the community section. That's like for all people that love hip hop that were able to learn something, be educated by, get opportunities from. Right? We want to see hip hop be here forever. One of the benefits to Web3 is that this it's not going anywhere. Right? It's validated by the crypto, the chain. It's a ledger and this it's not going nowhere. So part of the technology going this way is like we need to know. We need to know what's up, so that we're not boxed out, right? So that we can benefit from it. And so Culture Keepers, if nothing else, is like, yo, come join Culture Keepers. Let's talk about hip hop like we doing here. Let's vibe out. And then if you're an
Right.
artist or a creator of some kind, we know where to take you to. We know Rapmans can support you. So yeah,
Nah, that's a fact. I can speak firsthand. I've seen producers and artists make connections inside these Web3 platforms on Twitter. So nah, yeah, I can speak firsthand for that. Yeah, so listen, we going on like an hour and 15 minutes. I just got a couple quick more questions for the panel, real quick. We're gonna run it down real quick. All right. Question number one, Zuki, you here?
Yes,
Tapped in?
sir, man, bro.
All right, yo. Question: what is your opinion on the current climate of hip hop and rap music?
Where do I start?
Yeah, nah, it's
I
kind of a
feel like
loaded question. I know.
it's oversaturated with the same sounding stuff, and I feel like that's intentional because hip hop is becoming more consumer driven. You know, back to what we was talking about before. You know, it's more like a
Right,
way to make a quick buck now for dudes. So it's like, okay, there's this song out that's really good. I'm gonna try to do exactly that. You know, and I feel like
right,
it's become just like watered down a little bit mainstream wise because back in the day, you know, you still have variety. You know, you had different types of shit. Like, but now when you turn on the radio, it's kind of like a lot of the same sounding stuff, and you gotta dig for like the really good shit. Like, you know, you gotta like find an artist on Instagram that you like, and then follow up, which is
right,
pretty dope. So it makes it more accessible for up and coming talent, which is a plus. I feel like.
right,
But it also makes it harder to find them because there's so many people doing the same thing. So
right. It's like
as
needle in
far
a
as the
haystack.
current climate, like yeah, that's how I feel it is. And I'm just trying to like, there's some songs I really fuck with that are like, people would consider mainstream trash. But I'll hear it and I'll
Right,
hear an Ice Spice song and be like, oh shit, like, okay, I can fuck with this just on some, like regular Like, I don't know. I'm just casually
Listen,
listening
man,
to hip hop, you know, because I'm a hip hop fan.
that's because you can appreciate music.
Exactly.
You can appreciate sonic waves. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? Because good music is good
Exactly.
music.
That's like the problem for me. It's like there's like this. I don't know if business created this ceiling or if people that just don't care about their craft. That's really what I think it is. You just don't care about the craft.
It's the corporation. It's the corporations, bro. Because you got to think about this, man. It's these corporations who own these radio stations. The only reason why drill music is so popular in New York the way it is right now is because these record labels are signing these kids. They're signing these kids because these other kids listen to the drill music on the radio and they support these kids who are making the music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know,
The
man. I
image of
think
success now is, look at me, I'm on YouTube getting 100,000 or a million, whatever, however many streams. And a lot of that shit is
right,
auto generated anyway. Like
absolutely.
it's a formula put into place to make
Payola,
these kids look like they're successful when really they're not. They locked into these deals where, like, you know, they get a certain advance up front, and it's like, if you blow that, you blow that. You look popping online because they're giving you all this stuff, and these kids are
right,
watching that and they're like,
We
oh,
know
I
kids like
need to
that.
do that. I need to do that. Look, they on right now.
absolutely.
They making money. Like, that's
Well, let me say this
unfortunately
too.
that's what it is.
There's a certain level of people that are so malleable and so brainwashed to like what they think success is. They just want to be there. They're not even getting paid. They just want to be there. I was in the studio with
Oh
so and so.
man,
They gave
facts.
me a Osmo. They gave me the fake chain, and they fucking
No,
set me on South by South. That's all you wanted because you wanted to be seen. And so the issue for me is like being seen ain't. That's not it. That ain't it for me. That ain't you a great rapper. That ain't you perfect
nope.
at your craft. That's just you got visibility, and we see that visibility could come in a lot of goofy ways now. You know what I
Yep.
mean? And so if you,
Yep.
So the thing about it, this is my take on this. The thing about it is, all of us are. It's safe to say all of us are over the age of 30, right? All of us in here over the age of
Yep.
30. Check. These kids grew up when we was already 20, 21, 22. These kids was just 10 years old, 8 years old on Facebook. You know what I'm saying?
learning
Because they don't know nothing about no
attention is key.
MySpace.
Yeah.
Exactly. So fast forward 10 years, you got TikTok, Snapchat, all this other shit. They've been already modeled towards this and groomed towards this for 10 years. So everything is superficial, everything is instant gratification. And you know what? A lot of the times you're right. It is a reality check when they hit rock bottom. But at the same point, these kids, okay, I'll put it to you like this. 20 years ago, when they discovered a kid who could rap, he wasn't getting nearly as much money initially as these
Right.
kids are. Ice Spice probably signed a contract for like $1 million, $2 million out the gate off of one song. They heard that song, they seen the video, it's going crazy in the streets. They probably got her for
I
like
don't
an
think they
M
got
at
her. I
least,
don't
gave
think
her
she
the
got an
bag.
M.
Bro,
Bro, I'm trying to tell you, it's different these days, bro.
yeah.
I'm trying to tell
Yeah,
you. And you know what? It depends on contracts. It depends on contract. Go ahead, though.
yeah. Just to chime in, I think what's really crazy, and I don't know if I showed this to when you guys were at IR. I used to always play the Transcendent Man documentary. Did I play that for you guys?
Is that one fucking guy,
That
bro, who wants to
one
live
Yeah,
weirdo,
forever?
that Ray
fucking. Wait, I
Kurzweil.
know his name. I know his
I
name.
just heard about him, though. I
Started with
just
a K,
heard
right?
about boy.
Yeah, Ray
Ray Kurzweil.
Kurzweil.
Yep.
I just heard about
I
him.
remember Tay was like, because that was back when the school was real hardcore. I'm like, yo, you students aren't supposed to be on their phones in class, and Tay was always on
Oh
his phone.
shit.
Ah,
This man was a
But I
renegade,
was
bro. This man was a
Sorry, man.
renegade,
It
bro. I'm
wasn't
not
you,
I
so
was
gonna
I
lie
love
to
you,
you.
man.
I'm not gonna
It's
lie to
me. I
no,
got
you.
no, I love you
habits.
too.
Yo.
No, I knew you were making moves.
Thank
Like,
you.
but no, I remember I was playing. There's one quote from that Transcendent Man documentary, and I'm butchering the quote, but it was something about like it was basically along the lines of we're not going to realize that we are not up to speed. Like humans are not going to be able to contain the speed at which things move as far as like whether it's social media, whether it's like what people catch on
yeah.
to or what catches fire like in in the pop culture kind of thing, like things move at such a speed that anybody who thinks they know what's happening,
They don't.
we are in uncharted territory. Like, this is
It's all
Right.
absurd
brand
to,
new. Yeah.
somebody can just, yeah, you can just pop up online and, like, it's different from, if you want to take it back to like the 80s, 90s, where there was a set model as far as like the music business of like how you break, what your single is, like all that shit. And now it's just kind of, it is a free for all. And I think just kind of everybody is very, like, anybody who thinks that they know what's happening is full of shit. Like, it's just, you know what I mean? Like, that's just the way I look at it.
For me,
Is this is
I
for
hear
me,
that.
it's like a lot of. So I'm sure y'all see like the shit going on with AI, and like with there's a lot going on that will fucking like just destroy the music industry in certain ways. Like you seen what was it, Def Jam, or one of them guys tried to sign an AI rapper, so computer rapper.
Yeah,
They thought that
yeah,
was gonna
yeah, I saw
fly.
that.
So there's two things that is important to me in terms of like the culture, hip hop, right? As consumers, as people that listen to music, as soon as we say it's okay that a machine makes our music, we're fucked. As soon as you say I don't mind that MK Mechanism dude is the rapper and I'm gonna buy this record, we've lost because you don't care to discern if it's Muggs, a real human that's lived a life and can connect with you, or if it's a robot. You don't care at that point. Once we get to that point,
well,
it's really downhill.
I think people have. I think where we're at now, it's easy to kind of, you pick any flavor of the month that just popped up. That's, a supposed new star, and they'll have their time. But like, the one thing that I'm pretty optimistic about, and like I said, I've, like, my nephew's about to turn 18, and I just was chilling with him a couple weeks ago, and he was listening to some MF Doom that I did
Oh
not put
shit.
him onto. Like, he was just organically listening to it, and I was just like, "What are you, like? Are you kidding me? Like, how do you even know this?"
I love
And he
it.
was just like, "Oh, yo, my friend put me on." I was like, "What?"
I love it.
You know what
That's
I mean?
dope.
Like, it was such a beautiful. But so I do actually have a lot of hope for the younger generation because they have access to so much information, and I mean, I guess we all do now, but at the same time, it's just kind of very, like, good shit will always cut through,
Mm-hmm.
and I think kind of
Right.
you're always gonna have, and
Timeless.
I'm not trashing anybody
I agree.
who's, like I said, flavor of the month that's gonna come and go. Like, there's always gonna be a market for like authentically good music.
Right.
Always.
Right.
And I actually kind of really do, um, not to like put people into different age groups, but I think, um, like, during COVID and like the whole lockdown, I actually spent a lot of time with my niece and nephew, and it was kind of really interesting to pick the brain of like a modern day teenager. And yeah, it's totally different. And if you're not that age, you'll never be able to relate to
Mm-hmm.
it, like the
Right.
way that they take things in. Like, they came up in a totally different
Mm-hmm.
world. And I mean, you guys got kids. Like, it's
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean? Like, they're looking at it through a lens that you can only, like, at best you can estimate like how they think of things. But yeah, it's the way information comes at everybody these days is just, it's wild. So when it comes to trends and popularity, like, it is a it's a free for all, man. It's, like I said, uncharted territory.
That's uncharted, man.
No. All right. One last question, guys, and we're gonna spin out of here. I'm not gonna keep you all night. Dun dun dun. Did Chris Rock deserve the smack?
Oh, I'll take
Nah.
We're
that.
gonna go down the
No.
line.
Nah,
We're
he ain't
gonna go
deserve
down
the
the
smack.
line.
Nah.
How you do? Okay, Sean. Did he deserve the
Yo, I
smack?
am team Chris Rock. I've never.
Oh
Let
wow,
me tell you,
wow.
there
I
is,
gotta argue against all three of you now. I got a case though. I got a case.
yo,
Nah.
it's not Chris Rock's. He was doing his job. Like, that's, I
Okay.
don't think that that joke warranted that. I think Will Smith's. Uh, I can't believe we're talking about this. I think Will Smith's insecurity is just, yo. Put it this way. At one point, and I'm old enough to say this, Will Smith was the coolest dude on the planet. Like,
Right,
It was
right,
a
how are
right.
you
time.
that insecure that you're getting up on the Oscars? And I don't know. I put it this way. I'm a big Chris Rock fan. I think he has the most authentic, what he said in his stand-up specials, especially about like relationships and marriage and shit, are gospel.
Yep.
Like that dude he's
Yep.
so dead on that I'm just like, he said some things that I am like, yo, this is bigger than the Bible. Like what you just said is so true. And so I've always been a Chris
And
Rock fan.
consider this,
But
bro. That's the same dude, like you said. He's got well insights on relationships and marriages. And here comes this marriage that just seems ridiculous. Like Will Smith mad that his wife talking about fucking and sucking all over the place. I want to smack somebody in person
yeah,
as well. Everybody would want
I
to
mean,
smack somebody
who
after that.
knows?
It's like my wife out here fucking and sucking this dude, a fraction of my age.
Can I paint the scenario? Now, I
Hmm.
wasn't there. None of us were there. Who the fuck knows what happened, right? Let me just paint the scenario real
I'm gonna
quick,
paint it
all
like he
right?
was there though.
Will Smith is nominated for the Oscar, right? King Richard, right? We pretty much all know he's gonna get the shit. Everybody in the building know he gonna get the shit. He backstage. I don't know. She's somewhere. Maybe she talking with somebody else, another group of people. Chris Rock come up to him. Congratulations, bye, bye, bye. He said, yo, listen, I know you about to win, so you know I can't let you slide. I gotta burn you up. I got a couple jokes about you. I got a couple jokes about Jada. I have a feeling that nigga Will said, listen, bro, don't say nothing about Jada. You could crack on me, you could burn me up, but just tonight is not the night.
Should have
We
stayed home
going
then.
through it.
You should have
Don't
stayed
say
home.
nothing about it. Listen, I can't
She
stay home.
should have
I'm about
stayed
to win an
home then.
Oscar. I can't stay home. Can't stay home. Anyway, listen. Don't do it, bro. Please. I've known you. Professional courtesy. Don't burn my wife up out there in front of all these people, right? Chris Rock probably said, all right, I got you. I'm not going to do it, right? The next thing you know, the nigga talking directly at your wife on some crazy
He got
shit,
a
bro. Now, let
relationship
me
with the wife
ask
too,
you as
though,
a
bro.
man.
They, Madagascar. They did a
Yeah,
bunch of movies together.
but there's tension there. It's a
Okay.
tumultuous relationship. You know what I'm saying? So let me ask you this. You're sitting at the Oscars. 20 minutes after this, they about to call your name, bro. You already been fighting with her. She already admitted that she was fucking the young boy, your fucking son's friend. She already admitted that.
That's
Told the whole
his
world,
fault.
bro. Told the whole world, bro. Right? Confessed the shit. What is it? Entanglement, blah, blah, blah. You've been fighting with her the whole way over here because you probably ain't even want to go over here anyway, right? Give a fuck about that. Now, he's saying this shit. She looking at you. She looking at you. You know why I understand Will Smith? You know why I understand Will Smith, bro? Because listen, when your wife is looking at you because another man is disrespecting her, bro, what else is you supposed to do? And I done told you. I already told you, nigga. I already told you. Keep my fucking wife's name out of your mouth. I told you. Now you do this shit on it. I ain't even get my award yet, bro. Listen, Will Smith is from Philly. In my opinion, he handled that the way he was supposed to handle that. Now, Chris Rock is from Brooklyn. He should have followed up. He should have followed
That's
up.
what I'm saying. That's my thing.
You know what I'm saying? But, bro,
Listen, bro.
Can I ask you a question?
you're not going to be sitting across from your wife getting
Can I
burned
ask
up with
a
the fire
question?
in her eyes. She looking at you,
Nah,
and you not going to do nothing. Now you going to fight in the car all the way home.
nah.
You and your wife,
bro.
right? You and your wife take the cameras, right? Y'all don't go to Starbucks. Y'all take the cameras in the house, and y'all put on Facebook. You know what? I was fucking and sucking, and so now it's not just your business; it's the world's business. Okay? I could understand that you come here
Right.
and say, "Listen, this is not the night for the jokes," but you've already put this in play. This is prime jokery. And I know y'all. I don't see why this would be a problem, but this is A-level joke shit. And again, I didn't have to pry. I didn't do no battle rap shit and look into your business. No, you gave this to me. And so I'm not. Listen, I'll say this. I'm not saying that Will Smith shouldn't have hit him or couldn't have hit him because you was mad. Fine, but you got to understand, you really mad at yourself. You really mad at yourself.
Because she got you out here looking crazy. Is that
And
why?
so
Is
now
that
it
why
just
you
seems like
think?
you had to
You
overcompensate.
look even more crazy, bro. What the fuck? You don't
Well,
win.
when
Think
he,
about it.
But at the same,
I mean,
but you
his,
can't talk about my wife, bro.
Nah, but you don't handle it like
I
that,
get all
bro.
that. The
August
crazy
could have
part
had my
is
wife.
that
If that
he
was
was.
me, August could have had her.
Oh my god. This man is bugging. He's lost it. Listen,
Well, I mean,
that's gonna stay on the cutting room floor. He
Here's the
lost it.
problem. he gotta stop letting Jada run his life,
Mm.
okay? Because she looking
All
at
right.
him like, oh, you gonna let him talk to you like that? Who
Well,
cares?
Right.
You put
I
it
Right.
mean,
out there. Like
it
you
wasn't
you
so much
reacted
the
because your wife is mad, bro. If I reacted to any little old joke about me and my wife, I'd probably be dead from all the fights I
I'm
would have
telling
got.
you, bro. I'm just
Mm.
saying.
And in front of the
yeah
people at the
his
Oscars, bro, he lucky Chris Rock ain't slapping back.
That's what I'm saying. Like it should have been that
Chris Rock said he
timing.
was
You know what I'm
scared.
saying? But yo,
I
of
would have
course
been
he
well I
was
mean
shook
scared. Will
that
too.
Smith
Like
slapped the
the
shit out of that nigga. Of
He
course
was
he
more
was
scared
scared.
physically,
yeah man
or he
I
was
You
mean
scared
know
that he
you
was gonna lose that
scared.
money. I think he was scared he was gonna lose the money. But again,
You
think
got a
about
bag
this
after
because
that.
I think everything is show business, gentlemen. We know this shit is set up. He said as soon as it happened, I'm not ever talking about
Mm.
this unless I get paid. And yeah, that could just
Woo.
be
well
smart. Yeah, it could just be
Smart
smart, but
man.
it just seemed too yeah, man.
Too
This was bro,
Hollywood. Too
think about
staged.
what you watch. You watching the top you watching Hollywood thank itself for being great at doing what Hollywood's supposed to do. And here they got some type of shit that's supposed to look crazy. He's like, I don't know, bro. Then he's like, oh, I'm not gonna talk about it till I get paid. Then he gets paid and talks about it. It's like, I don't know.
Listen, you know what? I can appreciate that you guys all have valid takes on it because I was pretty just stern in my opinion. Like, yo, listen. If I tell a nigga shut the fuck up and he don't shut the fuck up and it's about somebody I care about, bro,
Did
there's
he
only so
do
many
that
times I'm
though?
gonna
Did
tell
he
you to be
really tell
quiet.
him?
yeah
I have a feeling he did.
that's
Why?
the question. Was there a discussion beforehand where he was
Well,
like,
he
yo,
slapped him. He slapped him, and on the stroll off, he said, "Keep my wife's
Now,
name
see,
out your
that could have
mouth."
just been he was passionate. He was in that moment. He was because this is my issue too. To be honest, bro, I
Oh
was
yeah,
watching it
I never thought
earlier.
about that. I
Earlier,
never
he
thought.
was
Yeah,
laughing
yeah,
at
that's
all
true.
Chris
That's
Rock
true.
jokes. So when
I
would
was
have been the
watching it
moment?
earlier. It's crazy.
When would have
yeah,
been the moment when he went back to tell me, "Hey, I like those other jokes, but I'm about to go up. Don't joke on me." He could have, but you was laughing the whole time. You was gee ha he he.
well
But
what's
okay, no. So fair enough. Maybe he even laughed at the Jada joke, but when the second that he looked over to her and she seen that he was laughing
What a
too,
simp.
he was like, "All right, now I gotta
that's
go.
Bro,
what
I'm gonna be
happened.
honest
And
Now
with
I
you.
gotta go."
it's also
He
it's
a
a
simp.
pretty lame joke too. Like who even gets a GI
Right
Jane
in this
reference? Like I
generation,
Yeah, nah, that
that's
shit
what I
was
mean. It was a like such a mild joke
yo.
that probably fell flat with I mean anybody who's under 30 is probably like what the hell is
exactly.
GI Jane? So but
I
I
laughed at
laughed
it
at it
too.
though. I'm not
that
gonna lie.
that but then also when you saw how when he was yelling keep my wife's name out of your fucking mouth like his lip was quivering like he was
Yeah,
fired
bro.
up like that was not you know what I mean so I think that's just a really kind of a peek into if that sets you off that much you're and again who knows he's fucking Will Smith like that's a peek into the psyche of yo like you're really about to get up on stage at the Oscars and smack the host like it's
Well, bro, too.
crazy like
This is what I'm thinking right now. So I'm Will Smith,
Oh
right?
man,
Think about
good
it.
times.
And so imagine when you was in high school and you get kind of beat up, and it was only in high school, but now the whole neighborhood knows. Like, imagine how you felt, right? It's like, damn, why they in my business? They talking crazy about me. I ain't shit.
yeah
The whole world know, right? That your wife was doing this entanglement,
right
right? And
Mm,
you
exactly
gotta
like
live
there's
with
mm.
that, right? So it's like, what if in that moment it wasn't just that? It wasn't a joke because it was funny to him, but she right? Now I gotta
exactly
go represent her
100%
because I want to make sure home is good. Home hasn't been good in a while. So I gotta do this to make up
yeah
for home.
there is there is an incredible amount of weight on like him and his relationship with his wife that Chris Rock makes this a GI Jane joke and it sets it off
Exactly.
that hard
That's the
like that is
conversation.
you know what I mean like yeah
He's big
So,
mad.
so what you guys are saying is that was the straw that broke the camel's back. That was the
It
catalyst
had
of,
nothing to
of
do
the
with
whole
Chris Rock. To
yeah
be
situation.
who
honest, I really
knows
feel like it don't. Like he made a dry ass joke that wasn't even that funny. She was mad, and it's almost like yo, these dudes is wearing dresses, but they shooting guns. Well, I bet you if you wasn't wearing a dress, you wouldn't shoot a gun because you gotta overexert yourself to feel like a man now. So with that, I feel like yo, it's like he had to do extra to show his wife that I'm with you with this. We a unit, right? Okay, here goes another example. Earlier in the show, I think it was Regina. Somebody was like, "Yo, I'm taking these 5 guys to the back for COVID test," but she's really talking about fucking. And so Will Smith name come up, and she's like, "No," he's like, "No, ha ha ha," and he hugged his wife like, "I'm with her. We a team. I'm with her." So the whole night was about this unity of Nothing's gonna get between us. We know people have heard of us, but we together, strong front. And so that's what I feel like that was. Like I gotta keep the front strong. My lip gonna be quivering because I didn't want to do this, but I gotta keep the front strong. You know what I'm saying?
My man hurting
Yeah,
inside.
that's
Yo, my man hurting,
no.
right?
I mean, yeah, like you could be as famous. I mean, you don't get much more famous than Will Smith,
It's up there.
and like just the level of fame and wealth and everything for him to snap like that. It just shows you it can happen.
Nah,
Like
yeah.
He's
who
human.
exactly? Like I mean, you've seen. Yeah, exactly.
In
He's
all
human, so it's like
seriousness, like mental health is real. We could sit here and joke and shit, but like he could really be going through it, and like maybe he just like we never know
Bro,
what's
that's a
Now
really
that's
fact.
a
going
fact.
I'd be
That's a
going through it.
fact.
I'd be going through it. If
through.
I was him,
oh,
I would.
definitely.
That's a fact. Right. And you know what? Yeah. Let's lay off of
Man,
Will
getting jiggy
Smith.
with it.
You know
Nah,
what I'm
nah, nah,
saying?
nah, nah,
Nah,
nah.
yeah.
Nah, 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 nah.
You see?
We getting jiggy with it.
That's my shit.
That being said, man, the dude does not get the respect he
He
deserves.
don't.
The early
Yeah, man.
Fresh Prince and DJ
He
Jazzy
don't.
Jeff shit. That's my gateway drug to all of
Bro,
it,
you
man.
know the
That is
still
the
cruising
Right.
joint. I think we
parent.
talked about that in your class one day. We was talking about still cruising. Think about it.
Yeah,
Think about this. In hip hop, people thought he was so mediocre that when he dropped the still cruising, he was like, nah, you couldn't have dropped. You couldn't have written that shit. That had to have been rocking.
oh yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of what the first DJ Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince is called, but the second one, he's the DJ, I'm the rapper,
Yeah,
is
yeah,
like,
that was the one I
yo,
know. That's the one I
that
know.
he is ripping on that. Like he is no cursing, no nothing. And this is pre
Is
Fresh
that the
Prince of
one that
Bel
has
Air.
parents just don't understand them?
It's post that. It starts with Nightmare
Oh,
on My
yeah,
Street,
yeah.
the Freddy
I know
Krueger
that.
joint.
On my street.
Yeah. But there are so many like just whatever you want to call it, B-sides,
Yeah,
filler, like just songs that are not hits where he is rapping his
yeah.
ass off. And it's DJ Jazzy Jeff who's obviously one of the best. Like I mean, he'll always be kind of Will Smith the movie star, but he already had a pretty incredible legacy music wise. And you know what's true too is like all the Yo MTV raps, like gangster rap, all those dudes, they respected him. Like he was
Hmm.
not you know what I mean? He wasn't trying to be super hard. He was a pop,
Pop rap, yeah.
like they were a pop group. Right, right. It was a different time, but I always kind of liked like Ice-T always used to like he used to defend Hammer and that kind of shit because people would start out gangster and then they would try to do like
Right,
some pop songs and then he was just like, yo, leave Hammer alone. Like he's totally trying to dance and entertain like James Brown. Like he's not trying to be
right.
gangster. So
And we
just
need to
you
have
know what I
that
mean?
too.
Like
Like you
don't be
said,
mad at
James
him
Brown
because
vibes,
he's
right.
yeah, don't be mad at him because he's going quadruple platinum. Yeah, like all that stuff had its lane back then. It's actually if you listen back to it, it's still a lot of skill on display. It doesn't have to
Street shit,
be
yeah.
um
And to that
yeah,
point,
yeah,
it's like, look
exactly.
how the street kind of moniker and the avatar of a street rapper has taken over what hip hop is. Hip hop is supposed to be this huge, big highway, right, of different vibes and sounds and points and themes and perspectives. But now we just got, drugs and chicks and killing each other. So it's like the avatar is it's really focused, right? It's like you a rapper, where your chain at? Where your face tats? Where your It's like, now we gotta get back to being like orators and storytellers and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
For
Nah,
sure,
yeah, I
bro.
agree with that. For real. But yo, listen, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. I want to thank both of you guys for popping out and you know what I'm saying, just sharing your insight and your stories with us. Real quick, you got any links, any projects on the way to let anybody know about? Any place you want to direct the fans to? You know what I'm saying? Now is the time to drop that.
Oh, so I'll take the lead. I got a project that's damn almost a year and a half old now called Enough at Last, which is instrumental, and then I have a new album that I'm going to put out. I'm mastering it right now. It's called Master of Transit. It's kind of the
That sounds
sequel to
fire.
that. It's very you guys are gonna love it, man. I can't wait to play it for you. I'm really excited about it. So it's yeah, I got a lot of played a lot of live instruments on it. Got
That's
some
dope.
just yeah, it's gonna stay all instrumental, but it's kind of keeping with a theme. Like you'll see it when it comes out, but Yeah, I kind of, my goal with a lot of the instrumental projects, because it's kind of I prefer, I like making beats. I send it to you guys, or we sit in the studio and then we make songs out of it. But like, it's a bit of a pain to make instrumental stuff, but it's also kind of freeing in that like I'll listen to it and then I'll just add instrumental, like I have some horn solos and shit on it. Like I'm just hiring different people where kind of taking the music in a different direction where it's not just
You said hiring different
waiting.
people?
Yeah,
Right.
like not just waiting for somebody to add bars to it. I'm just like, yo, this is the beat, but I'm gonna have somebody play saxophone on it.
Dude,
Or
can we
That's
so I've just
fire.
been.
can we talk about that post? Like
Oh,
I
definitely, man.
definitely
Yeah,
love to get involved with that. That sounds
Oh,
amazing.
yeah, man. I'm super excited. It's I'm actually kind of weeding out tracks now, but I'm mastering it, and then also I have with our buddy Murph from the Stay Up Gallery. He and
Murph, what
I,
Shout
up?
out Murph.
yeah, man. He and I had during the lockdown during COVID, when I was living down in Texas, we did a lot of time on FaceTime, just kicking around samples and shit. And so
Nice.
we have this group called Size and
Woo!
Pen, which is uh, it's based, Muggs, you would love this. It's based off of Sizemore and Penn from True Romance.
Let's
Tom Sizemore and
go.
Chris Penn. And so
Yo, bro, I just started chopping up because listen, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Side note, I'm starting to make we doing a collab with a clothing company,
oh, dope.
and I was just looking up Drexler Spivey, Gary Oldman's character.
Oh, let's go.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, to hear you say that is crazy. But nah, yeah, you go ahead,
Yeah,
bro.
so
For real,
we
that's fire
we
though.
were just working on it the other night. It's dope. Like both my project and the Size and Pen project are um pretty much done. We're just mastering them now and
Okay.
kind of tweaking a couple things, but the Size and Pen thing is really fun, man. I think you'll dig it. It's not just a straight hip hop album. It's there's a lot of like, I don't know, like cool uh, dance house music, like a lot of upbeat shit. Like it's a fun
Nice.
party record that came
Yo, I
from.
want to be in the video, bro.
Yo,
I want to be
it's
in
fun,
whatever
man.
video you shooting, bro.
I can't wait for y'all to hear it, man. There's some really really cool, fun,
Where
like upbeat shit.
where
And
can we listen to the first project?
Enough at Last is up on that's streaming everywhere. It's just called Scene 5. The album's Enough at Last. That's the joint based off of that. It's based off a Twilight Zone episode that really tied into I mean, me and Muggs have gone over the Burgess Meredith Chronicles many times, but yeah, it's basically Burgess Meredith, and the plot of the show is that, or that particular episode, is that this dude just, he loves to read, and he's just so into books, and his wife doesn't like it, and he works a job at the bank that he hates, and he goes into the vault the one day, and then there's like a nuclear fallout, and so everybody's
Oh
dead,
shit.
and this dude has. So, like, I had the idea years ago, and then with COVID, I kind of felt like that
Holy
was the way it
shit.
was for me. Like making beats. Like the world is over, and I have nothing but time to make these tracks.
That's
I will say
dope.
it's not the most uplifting album, but
That's
it's
what I
No,
like,
it's
man. Let's
beautiful.
go. I like the melancholy shit.
yeah,
I like that.
yeah. No,
Facts.
the beats are.
Word,
It's
bro.
one project that when I go back and listen to it, I'm just I like it because when I hear it, I'm like, that is exactly how I wanted it to sound. A lot of times, I mean, I'm sure you guys go through this where you'll make something and then you listen back to it and be like, oh, I could have done this or that better. Like I actually really, when I listen back to that album, I'm like, okay, I might have done this or that a different way, but I'm still pretty proud of it. But
That's dope,
so
man.
yeah, Master Transit's coming out, and the Size and Pen
Woo.
album is called Fears for Ears.
And where can they find you? Like your socials, and then where can they buy your music or stream your music?
Everything is all um I think Instagram is the fifth scene, but everything
Got you.
else is scene 5. So yeah, so our stuff's still streaming. I think we got the Saints album got kicked off of Spotify because we were sampling Steven Seagal, but
Right.
But
Nice.
yeah, man,
Right.
scene five everywhere else, man. We're still yeah, still spinning.
We still banging on all them other
Spotify, man.
platforms.
Yeah,
You feel
yo,
me? Yo,
Yo,
listen.
I'm still
Yeah,
running strong
nah.
on there. They haven't kicked one of my shits off, but I'm waiting for it.
Nah,
I'm
good, good.
I'm bracing myself.
Listen, outside of here, I'm gonna talk to both of you guys. Yeah, there's a plan. We got a plan to put something together to kind of sidestep the streaming. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that later. All right, so scene five, the Instagram is the fifth scene, and all the music can be found by searching scene five, and he's on all streaming platforms. There you have it.
that's right.
Yo, Zuki, bro,
Yo,
What about Lord
what's good
Zookie?
with
That's
you?
a
Let the
fact.
people know. Where can we find you?
yeah, Lord Zookie on all socials, man. Tap in. Tap into my Bandcamp if
Got
you
you.
want to directly support my albums.
That's a fact.
Me
That's a
and your
fact.
friends, you
Bandcamp.
feel me? Download it for free. Some of them, not all of them.
That's a fact.
But
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, everything on streaming platforms right now. Check out my two instrumental albums.
Mm,
Had like a seasonal theme going on. So I had put out last year. I put out Summer Bliss. Actually, I put them both out last year. So yeah, Summer Bliss and False Feeling, all streaming platforms. Feelings Full, my bad. Definitely butchered that. Feelings Full, all platforms. As far as upcoming work,
got
yeah, I got two projects about to
you.
come out with Verbal.
Okay.
No, one with Verb. We
Ooh.
got well unofficially we got some shit in the works. EP, a little EP coming soon. Oh man, that shit's gonna it's gonna make some waves, bro.
Yo,
Like
I already
it's
know.
you
I
know we
already
was
know.
nice, bro, already, bro. Like it's definitely
I
just
hold you two. I hold you two in high regard, man. Most
part of it.
definitely. Like, listen, man. I'm not tooting no horns, bro. But when it comes to me and bro get into this music shit, bro, it's not many niggas that can stand next to us,
Like,
bro.
bro, say the same about
You know what
you.
I'm saying?
Same.
So it's like the mutual respect that I have for you guys is like, yeah, man. Like, I look at you guys as equals and peers. You feel me? Because like, yeah, nah, niggas really is nice. Niggas really got a niche. Niggas is
Bro,
really
when y'all get
working.
on
You know
the
what I'm
track
saying?
together,
So
so forget about it, bro. Shit.
that's another thing. Yeah, that's another thing, man.
Yo,
Like, yo, for the people who don't know, Muggs and Verb got some
yeah,
joints in.
man.
We need to get a
We
collab
need
in. Shout out my man Verb. We need to
we
get a
need the
collab
EP.
in.
Yo, matter of
Shout out
fact,
the whole
we're
lower,
gonna
all my
talk,
niggas in the
bro. We're
lower.
gonna talk. We're gonna talk.
Yeah,
All right, yeah, nah, most
we all need
definitely.
to get into a room together
Yeah,
for
we
sure.
do. We do.
That's what I'm saying. You understand the project that would come out of that, bro? A 12-hour lock-in session, bro. You know what? Never mind all of that, because I'm gonna put it together when you guys.
We're
We gonna
gonna
talk
talk,
about
man.
dates and all
Let me
that,
let
and
me
I'm gonna just put the
let me just
session
wrap
together,
it
bro.
up. So yeah, Verbal EP. Check out him, Verbal McMahon on all socials. Also, my
Big
boy
facts.
Sir Takeover. We had put out the Takeover last year. Coming again this
Got
year
you.
with a nice album. So everybody look him
Like,
up.
is that a
Yeah,
follow up?
little follow up.
All right, got you.
Sir Takeover on the gram. Yeah, tap in with him. Just want to give him a shout
All
out.
right, bet.
I gotta link you guys too, man.
Nah, yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm willing to build with whoever you vouch for. I'm willing to build
Yeah,
with.
man. But other than that, just creating,
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
We gotta link because I'm in work mode. Like I'm so focused right now. Just
You already know. I'm gonna set the studio time up,
yeah,
bro, and
it
I'm gonna
must
just
be
meet both
done.
of y'all in the
It
joint.
must be done.
You know what I'm saying? But yo, listen, yo, Guru, D5, you got
I
anything you
just want
trying
to
to
say
plug or
big
drop
salute
real
to
quick
these
before we
brothers,
spin
man,
out of here?
because from 2011, 2012 vibes,
Absolutely,
man, we've been building. The future's
absolutely,
bright. I'm fucking hyped to get recording and then get the new stuff out. Um,
Let's
and let's
do it,
just be
man.
consistent, man. Let's keep building this network because that's something I learned this year. Like, if nothing else Web3 allows you to do is talk to millionaires, talk to people that want to get involved in new shit. And so we got the value with our music, we got the value with our production and our IP. We got to keep on building and bridging it out, man. So I'm super confident, man. I'm super excited, and I'm glad to just have y'all rocking. Let's go.
absolutely. Listen, man. Once again, like just to echo what he said, thank you guys so much for showing up. I think this was a monumental episode. It's the first episode, so it really means a lot. Yeah, let me just plug real quick. Mugs on Drugs, MUGGZONDRUGZ. Pretty much all platforms. By the time the world hears this, www.mugsondrugs.com should be fully running. We're going to have content. We're going to have merch. You're going to be able to check the podcast out. A lot of different other things. Yeah, listen, this is the gray area, because life is, contrary to popular belief, life is not black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's lived in the gray area. And yeah, man, this is just a calm space where we could chill and build with friends and build with people we work with. Shout out to everybody listening. Shout out the whole world. You already know. Peace.